So, what to say about this movie? There's a lot. There are a lot of thoughts about this movie, but not a lot of thoughts that are really spoiler free, so spoilers, sorry. With Infinity War, there was a huge stress on having to watch all the other films in chronological order before you went to go see Infinity War. See, with Infinity War, you could get away with not watching one or two of the movies, or you could like mix up the order. But with Endgame, you definitely have to watch like all the movies, you have to watch in chronological order, purely because scenes and lines from the previous movies are referenced and called upon in Endgame, and you just get a better viewing experience when you know exactly what the characters are referring to, what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna split this video up into 4 parts. What I liked, what I didn't like, what I hated, and what I was kind of confused about.
America, explain!
So, yeah.
I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
So the things that I liked. I loved, okay, liked, immediately says love. Pacing and the timing. The pacing was really good. It didn't really feel like it was too quick or going too slow. At the start of the movie, the pacing was very measured and slow going, which was really good because you could follow the characters as they kind of seeped into the devastation of it all and the aftermath of the snap, which was really good. And then as soon as it clicks the 5 years forward, it kind of speeds up a little bit, especially with like the montage scenes, and like the fight scenes didn't really feel rushed either. I know in the past, like with some Marvel's films, the fight scenes seemed a bit choppy and everything, but here everything was really tight, really sharp. It was really good, and I absolutely loved the use of time elements. Not particularly time travel, only because I felt like I didn't really get some of the bits, just because time travel can be so tricky with all the paradoxes.
More like a big ball of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Especially surrounding like Nebula. Her character plot was a bit weird in regards to the time element of time travel. But I loved how they went 5 years forward. Like you were there 21 days after the snap, and then 5 years ahead of that, which I thought was really cool because you can just see what the characters are up to and how they're really settling in or not settling into the devastation of the snap, which I thought was so cool. And you get to catch up on them and you get to see their transformations as characters, particularly Thor. Yeah, I really enjoyed what Marvel did with the plot of this film. Because walking into Endgame, you come in with one expectation, that Thanos gets killed. And this expectation gets met within the first 10 minutes of the film. And that's really good because for the next 2 hours and 50 minutes, you're kind of kept on your toes. Like, you don't know what's going to happen.
They've killed the main guy. What are they going to do for the next 3 hours?
I thought that was really cool.
And it was really unexpected, and especially when they were introducing the time travel, like they had another opportunity to kill Thanos, and with the stones being brought back into play, like you had the idea that maybe he would grab hold of the stones again and click everything again, and another half of them would be deceased, which I thought was really cool. There were a lot of character moments which I loved in this film, and a lot of character uproots, I guess, which I loved in this film, particularly Thor. Okay, so Thor in the previous films has been seen as a bit of a dim-witted character, so he's always been like a source of comic relief, but even more so because he's delved into his loss and his grief. And with the other characters, they take a more serious route, such as Clint. He takes such a serious route with his taking out his anger and frustration and confusion with the loss of his family by killing and slaughtering countless people across the globe. Thor's character takes another realistic approach of just like heading down, like, you know, just drinking his problems away, forgetting them, kind of turning into a bit of a slob, which I thought was really funny because he just turns into such a comic relief and such a breath of fresh air amidst all the pressure from the other serious characters within the film. Might I say, quick side note, this film had a lot of humorous moments despite it being the aftermath of the snap, which was so refreshing. Because in Infinity War, it just felt like the pressure was being clamped down. You know, like that doll that gets pushed down by the metal pressure thing and all the plastic comes out of him? Yeah, that was like the entirety of Infinity War. But here, it's just a bit of that pressure is alleviated by Thor and other comic relief characters, which was really, really much appreciated. Thanks for that. I'll get to the other comic relief characters in a moment. Steve's character, oh my gosh, Chris Evans. Steve Rogers' character was fantastic in this film. He just had so many good moments and character lines, which was fantastic and just suited him so well and just showed the development of him over time, over the years, over all the span of the movies, particularly the Hail Hydra moment. So he's in the elevator in Winter Soldier, the one where he has that awesome fight scene where he kills like all those Hydra informants, and just as this fight is about to start, this iconic fight scene, he whispers to the bald guy with the glasses, I don't know his name, that Hydra informant, and he goes, "Hail Hydra." Oh, that was so good. I loved that. Another moment was when he said "Avengers Assemble." With that end scene, I'll talk about the end scene in a moment. That Avengers Assemble thing was just beautiful because it was just so good. It just brought everything full circle. The third moment was picking up the hammer, because it'd been hinted in Age of Ultron, and the way that it was just delivered, like it was hinted at at the party, and the zoom in on Thor's face when when the hammer tilted a little bit off the table, but when it came full circle and he picked up the hammer and it levitated in his hand with it was beautiful, and then he could wield the lightning. It was so good. The fourth most heartbreaking, emotional, beautiful scene. He finally got to dance with Peggy. He finally had that last dance. And it just ended the film too, which was beautiful. And the way that they interacted is it's as if no time passed between them. It's as if he did successfully land that plane back in the 1930s. Back in the 1930s, 40s, he came home and Peggy was there and they just danced, and I thought that was so beautiful. That ending fight scene when all the orange circles appeared everywhere, oh my gosh, I will never think. Now every time the colour orange is mentioned, I will think of that scene, because the scene is set. Thor has been beaten down by Thanos. Tony Stark is unconscious. Half of Captain America's shield, vibranium, the strongest metal on Earth, has been cut in half. And he has no backup. He is down to his last bits of energy. And then you see an orange circle. And out comes Black Panther. Out comes all these. It is so beautiful. And then coupled with the Avengers Assemble. It is beautiful. I love it. The comic relief. The comic reliefs. I really liked how Rhodey became a bit of a comic relief character, playing into Ant-Man and Hulk's energy. And Ant-Man, of course, Ant-Man is, the standard comic relief. He is fantastic though. And plus, we get to kind of move with Ant-Man, because he comes back after that 5-year break and he doesn't actually know about Thanos' snap. We kind of almost relate to him. Yeah, we know about Thanos' snap, but we don't know what's happened in the last 5 years and where the team is at. So we get to travel along with him while also having a comedic commentary with him, which I think is really cool. Yeah, and now onto the things I didn't like.
I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
I didn't like Hulk's character. I don't know why they changed Bruce Banner. I don't know why they needed to bring Bruce Banner and Hulk together. I mean, it was kind of clever. I guess after all this time, it was expected that Bruce Banner would kind of study Hulk and how he turns into Hulk and how he can kind of manage that and have a cohesive relationship with him that actually works for both parties. But I didn't like how they kind of entangled them and meshed them together, because they're two different people, and it kind of came off as a bit yuck for me. Then again, it's just a personal opinion. He just seemed, I didn't like how Bruce Banner was kind of downgraded to be a bit more goofy and become a comic relief character. I didn't really feel like he played into that role in previous movies, and yeah, they're trying to mix it up a bit, but I didn't like it. I didn't like it. The only part of the movie which I liked Bruce Banner was when he was talking to the Ancient One, and that was only when he was in his astral form. So yeah, and I didn't like Hawkeye. I didn't like Hawkeye. I don't know. I just have a thing against him, like a lot of people do. He was just an emo kid, and I get that he lost his wife and his 3 kids. But he didn't need to take it out on all those people. Yeah, everybody's got the different ways of letting out loss and grief and everything, but killing people for it, I don't know. And then he should have died instead of Natasha. I get it, Natasha didn't really have anything to come back to if she did live, and Clint did serve as a sacrifice, but I don't know, Christ, we're gonna Clint to die. Things I hated because the directors and the screenwriters and everything were just geniuses. Love to pull on the heartstrings, love to make us cry a little bit, love to make us just delve our hands into our tins of popcorn.
I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
Tony's death scene. Why? No, why you do us dirty like this? Why make us cry? Why? I mean, Spider-Man saying, Mr. Stark, we won. Pepper saying, you can rest now. Oh, other thing I hated. Natasha dying. I was really unexpected. I mean, I hated it, but I kind of loved it because, like, you just caught me off guard there, but I kind of wish Clint died. Things that confused me.
I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
The Asgardians. Okay, so, like, why do you keep opening? The Asgardians. So I thought that at the start of Infinity War, you know, on that ship, on the ship that saved all the Asgardians from Asgard as Ragnarok was taking place, I thought that held everybody, and I thought everybody on that ship was slaughtered by Thanos. So who saved them? Unless there was like a deleted scene where Heimdall like transported them to Earth. I was just really confused. I thought that they all died, and then there everyone was, and like Valkyrie was there like chilling because she's like queen now, but I was just like really confused. I was happy. I was like, yeah, they didn't die. Taika.
That is not correct.
A New Zealand director, I don't know how to pronounce his name. The guy who voices the best character in the MCU, he didn't die, you know. Also Loki. So I was surprised I saw Loki at all. Cut that he didn't make it back, but that is my question. He used the Tesseract and then portaled his way out of there when they went back in time. So what happened to him now? Is he like alive? Because obviously they used the Tesseract to like bring back everybody, but like I'm confused. What happened to Loki then?
I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
Can I just say the cinematic experience of watching Endgame at 8:45 on the 24th of April when it came out in Australia was the best experience, because you have all these people that are dedicated fans of the Marvel franchise, Marvel Universe, and they're all just sitting there, and what you feel when you watch it is amplified by like 10,000 because everyone's feeling the same way. For instance, when Captain America picked up Thor's hammer, everybody was cheering, everybody was screaming and clapping, and that was such an experience. And that was the same for a lot of other moments, and especially when Tony died, everybody was crying. There's this very silent part where like there's things still happening on screen, but like there's no sound, and you just heard sobs from the audience and sniffles and chattering, and that was such an experience. And it just made me so happy because like it just proves how emotionally invested people can get in movies, and that is such a beautiful thing to just witness. So yes, it was awesome. Such a good movie. I definitely recommend it if you are a fan of the Marvel Universe. Yeah.